Hey guys, Zoidbergenstein here with another of my solo pub tutorials. Last time you guys asked to see a Harasser solo pub tutorial, so that's exactly what this is. I'm going to be using a Marauder on top of my Harasser with Scrapper Chassis, which I like for solo harassing because it lets me get in and out of situations just a little bit better. I've got Composite 4, which gives me a little more survivability since I don't have an engineer who can just pop in the back, although I always run Composite. And I'm going to be using Turbo because it gets me, again, in and out of those dangerous situations a lot faster. So hopefully you guys will enjoy this video and can figure out a little bit more about Marauder Harassers in Planetside 2. There are a couple of primary ideas that you want to keep in mind when you're playing solo Harasser. The first is be where the infantry is going to be. So as I roll down this hill, you're going to see me go straight to the vehicle shield. The reason I go there is, first, because it gives me a little bit of protection from enemy tanks that might be trying to shell harassers for an easy kill or assist. The second is it's where the infantry is going to be. As they come through that shield, which is their easiest point of access, they're either going to turn left or right. Now I'm going to look towards the right tower because that's closer to the point, it gives them a little bit more cover, and that's where I think they're going to go. I don't see anyone here, but because I'm using this infrared, I can actually see a guy up on that bridge. I don't get the kill, so I immediately reload and roll back so that I'm not an easy stationary target. I do see a Sunderer on my minimap, which is perfect prey for a solo Marauder. I head over there, there's only that one guy coming across who does get hit on me, so I immediately back out and get these repairs. Now the second primary idea when you're playing solo Harasser is always be at full HP. If I take any damage at all, I'm going to back out and I'm going to repair this Harasser, because when I'm playing solo, anytime I'm stationary, I'm a very easy target. So always stay full HP when you're playing this solo Marauder style. Something else which you're going to see me screw up on a little bit here in this video is you should always lock your Harasser to squad only. When you're playing solo Harasser, if you don't notice that someone gets in the gun, it can really mess you up if you roll into a fight, expect to be able to switch the gun, and then for some reason you can't. So make sure you lock that as soon as you spawn your Harasser. Now what you see me doing here is rolling back and forth. Again, I unload one magazine of grenades, I get that reload started, and I switch back to the driver's seat and I roll back. I do this because, like I mentioned earlier, anytime you're gunning, you're not moving and you become very easy to hit. Now here, I probably stay in that gunner seat a little bit too long. I should have backed out early. I switch back to the gunner seat because I think I can pick up that kill on the flash, but when you're playing solo harass, that's probably a little too aggressive. I could easily be killed here by a couple Ravens or a rocket or a tank, so I should have backed out earlier and gone to repair. Now when you repair and you're playing solo Harasser, it's very important that you go to a safe location. Here I go up the hill, I think I'm safe, I keep running back and forth while I repair so that I don't get sniped, but I'm a little bit too close to the enemy and they do start shooting me and tossing Ravens at me. Another of the primary things to keep in mind when you're harassing is if you can find a place to just sit and shell, that's perfect. I really like it up here on this base because it's very difficult for them to get at me. I can roll back easily and I can stay here until I start taking damage. This is important because, again, I don't have a driver. If I had a driver who might be down in the thick of things getting kills and escaping, but it's very difficult to do that by yourself. So if I can find a spot like this where I can just shell and do a lot of damage and then roll back like this and repair, that's awesome. I'm going to do it as much as possible. Now that Raven can still hit me even if I back up to there, so I'm going to go ahead and go all the way back behind this hill. It's important to be very, very careful. If my Harasser goes down, my timer's not up yet, I'm going to have to wait to get another one up and I'm going to miss a lot of kills. So again, be very, very careful when you're in these Harassers. Something I like to keep in mind, whether we're doing competition or pubbing, is if something's working, keep doing it until they stop. They aren't camping me with AV turrets yet, so I'm just going to roll back to this spot and I'm going to continue to rack up a lot of kills. And as you can see, it's very effective. A lot more effective than just immediately rolling to a different spot. Now, like I've been saying, I've taken a Raven. I should move back at this point, but I see a lot of kills and I get a little bit greedy here. I'm about to take another Raven and I roll back too late and I lose that Harasser. Now it's very important to remember with Harassers, you know when you're going to die, so if you feel like you're going to die, roll that back and jump out and save the life. As you can see from the fact that I'm going to roll back to the exact same spot and keep shelling, solo harassing really isn't anything that flashy or exciting. It's just a very easy way to get a lot of kills and get them very quickly. I roll back to this spot, I start looking for infantry because I know they're there, and I just start shelling. Anytime you find a good mass, just unload that full clip in there. Even if it looks like you've gotten all the kills you can get, keep shooting because there's a good chance that a medic is going to come or someone's going to walk around a corner and you're going to get that extra kill. Now, you can see here, I did lose that harasser before by being a little too over-aggressive, staying a little bit too long. So as soon as I take that damage, I'm just going to roll back, I'm going to repair my harasser, and then I'm going to go back to the same spot and keep getting those kills. I look around, I see a Sunder that doesn't look like it's deployed, so I'm not going to camp that yet, and I'm going to go for other infantry. I keep going back and looking at that Sunday to make sure that it doesn't deploy. Now, something to keep in mind, anytime you see a vehicle with one of these Marauders, even though you're probably not going to get the kill, you should tag it with as many shots as you can. Unload one magazine into it and at least get the assist for it. I don't do that here, and you're actually going to see another place in the video where I don't do it, but it's something that I absolutely should be doing to maximize my score per hour. Another reason it's very handy to come back to the same spot over and over again is because you figure out the range and the accuracy on your Marauder. Because I've been camping here for a while, I've got the ballpark range on my Marauder figured out. I know that if I shoot in this general area, I'm probably going to get some splash, and then I can zone in specifically for the kill. So here, you see a couple grenades go out. I missed the first few, but as soon as I start getting splash, I figure out, okay, I've hit in the right spot. I need to pound this area until I get a kill. Unfortunately, this area is starting to die down just a little bit. I'm not getting infantry kills at the rate that I want to, so I'm going to check a different angle, and I'm going to see if I can get some kills over here. I decided to stop for some ammo because I've been shelling for quite a while and I want to make sure that I don't go off to a new area and then run out of ammo. Now I park here because I have good visibility and I really don't expect to get pelted by ravens like this, so I'm going to try and block as much of their view with this ammo tower as possible, get up to 25% and run away. There's a tank in my way this way, so I'm a little scared, but I'm going to turbo out of the way over here and get someplace that I feel is really safe. Now I'm trying to go a little bit too fast here. I missed that turn, but I do get to safety and I'm going to repair back to 100%. Something else to keep in mind is you don't always have to repair to 100%. If you can repair past the point that you're going to be one shot, oftentimes you can get to a much safer area and get repaired back to full without risking the death. As I get repaired, I'm going to come back to this angle that I initially wanted to switch to, and I'm going to see if I can find anyone else to shoot. I do see a lot of people out there, so I'm going to start getting the shots, but I'm taking a lot of damage. So again, in a harasser, if you're taking damage, go ahead and get out of there. I back up into a corner where I can repair to 25%. I turn my harasser in the direction that I want to go once I get back in, and I turbo out of the way to a place of complete safety where I can repair to 100%. Now, something I've mentioned before and I'll mention again, anytime you're repairing a harasser or any vehicle, don't stand still. Infiltrators love to be in wild and crazy places, so if you're dealing with a sniper, he could be on top of the tech plant just waiting for someone to come back and repair. If he's got an SMG, he might be right behind you waiting around a corner for you to get out and repair. Just never stand still and always be ready to spam that E button to get back in your vehicle. Now I pull up to this corner and I'm not going to do anything differently. I'm going to work the angles, I'm going to spam at the infantry that I see, and try and hit as many shots as possible. Solo harasser is largely the same anywhere you go. Just get in a spot where you're going to be safe, you can roll back very easily like this, and get as many kills as you can possibly get. The angle that you park your harasser at when you're gunning is very important. You always want an angle where you can hit the ground in front of you. When you're using a Vulcan or you're using a Prowler or something, you may angle it up so that you can hit the air, but my Marauder is never going to deal with any air above me. The only time I'm ever going to have to shoot up is if a light assault is coming at me or if I'm trying to shoot up a hill or something like that. So I always want to angle this thing where I've got the most range on what I'm going to be shooting, which is down in front of me. Now, I see this tank here, I see the guy repairing, and I decide, hey, I can get that kill. Now, I should hit that tank, like I said before, and get the assist, but there's so much infantry all around me that I decide to keep going for infantry kills. Doorways and windows are oftentimes the best place for a harasser to shell. Especially on this base, you see those guys camping at the window, you see guys in the door. I can toss my Marauder in there, and even if I can't see anybody at the window, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to get enough splash to at least kill something. Now here you see I've sped up the video. I'm going to keep doing the same thing for a little bit, but I don't like that angle anymore. I'm getting harassed a little bit too much, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to find a new spot. The reason I get out of the harasser is just because I hit the wrong button, so fortunately I'm able to pick up a quick Jaguar kill, which is what I generally use on my engineer, and I start moving around for a new angle. I check here, there's nothing that I really want to shoot there, so I'm going to go ahead and keep moving and try and find a better spot. I'm rolling down this hill in hopes that I can camp the spawn from this angle, but again, I don't really have anything great where I'm not being shelled horribly, and I'm going to go ahead and explore a different angle and try and get out. Now, when you're in a harasser and you're in fire, you've got to make a decision. Are you going to live or are you going to die? Here, even though it's difficult to see, I decide that I can survive for a little bit longer. That Raven isn't going to be able to get back on me, so I push out and I get that repair and I get back to full, and I'm going to move out and I'm going to attempt to camp this spawn. The same guidelines for spawn camping with a harasser apply as when you're not spawn camping. I'm going to set up an angle where I have the most ability to kill, and I'm going to sit in a place where I can escape very easily. When you're solo harassing, it's important that you put the emphasis on being able to escape easily. Here on this spot, I've got an angle across the entire top of their spawn, and if I take a lot of damage, I can simply roll back behind me and get away. Even though I'm camping a spawn, which is usually great in a Marauder Harasser, there aren't a lot of people coming up through the top here. I pick up a couple kills, but really not at the rate that I'm looking for when I'm playing solo Harasser. So I'm going to reposition in just a moment. I speed up the video, and even though I talk about not being aggressive in a solo Harasser, I'm going to do it anyways. In competition, if you get bored, it's important that you continue playing the way you're supposed to, but when you're pubbing, sometimes it's important to just have fun. So as I speed up this video, you see, I do stay a little bit longer. I'm going to try and get a few more kills, but really nothing's going on. I'm going to go ahead and leave, get repairs on my Marauder, and start trying to find some better frags. Another thing to consider is if you're in a situation like this where you're out in the middle of nowhere and there is a heavy shooting, you don't panic. You're going to be able to kill him a lot faster than he can kill you. It only takes 2 shots from your Marauder to kill him. Just settle down, shoot him, repair, and then head back off. So, now I'm thinking to myself, well, I didn't get a lot of action from on top of the spawn, so I'm going to go ahead and move on the bottom of their spawn and see what I can hit. I jump that wall, and I do see a lot of infantry over there. So I'm going to get in my gun, set up in a very defensive position behind that cylinder, where they're not going to be able to see me from every location, and I'm going to start trying to pick off kills. I get a couple here, but a harasser comes up and sees me. I'm hoping he's not going to notice or shoot me, but he does. So I try and get a couple more kills, and then I immediately turbo out of there, going up the main road. I see that I'm about to die, so instead of trying to survive, I just bail out of that harasser. I save the death, and I'm going to go run and try and get another harasser back up. When you're running away from stuff, get to safety as fast as possible. I see a rock that I know I can hide behind, so I'm going to do my best to dodge, jump up behind it. Now that I've gotten to safety, I'm going to go bring up another harasser. So even though I've lost 2 harassers here, I still haven't actually died, and I've kept my kill streak going. When I'm playing solo in a vehicle, something I like to keep in mind is if I've made back the amount of resources it took to pull that vehicle and my timer's up, it really doesn't matter if I lose it. I can be aggressive to pick up a couple kills, redeploy, and get back out, and then just pull another one at 0 cost. So you can see, as soon as I pull this harasser, I'm going right back to the spots where I've had success. That doorway, there are a lot of guys, so I just start shelling it again. It's very important when you're doing this harasser stuff that you just do what works. If you want to play differently, if you want to go have a lot of fun going off jumps, that's awesome. That's a great way to play harasser, and sometimes I enjoy it. But in this scenario, we're just trying to farm a very high KDR. And at the end of this video, I've ended up on a 50 kill streak with a Marauder, which means that my KDR is actually 50. So that's a really easy way to inflate that KD. It's a really easy way to pick up a lot of kills quickly. 50 kills in about 14 minutes is really fast. We could keep going on this video for quite a while, but it's already been a little bit longer than I like these solo pub tutorials to be. So the important things to remember when you're playing solo harasser are stay alive. Anytime you take damage, go ahead and back out and repair that vehicle. Get back to full strength and then go back in. If you haven't had your 5-minute time period before you can pull another harasser, or you haven't got those vehicle resources back, if you lose that harasser, you're just going to lose out on kills. The second thing to keep in mind is keep doing what works. You see me in this video primarily camp 2 different locations where I just rack up lots and lots of kills. Until they make you stop doing that, you're going to have the most success if you just keep going back there and farm until there's nothing left. So, like always, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow me on Twitter at Zoidbergenstein. And if you haven't played Planetside before, definitely check out my recruiter code, which is down there in the comments. Use that, get a free welcome package to the game, and stay tuned for my next video, which will be coming out in the next couple days.